Hey, what's happening? Barnaby here. Tool Select has come to Germany, where everywhere we look, we're reminded of this country's reputation for craftsmanship, engineering, and of course, history. Case in point, this cathedral behind me at Ulme Münster. The first stones of the foundation were laid way back in 1377. And when you think about German engineering, iconic automotive brands like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi come to mind. Fine, the German power tool manufacturer, tells us that history, engineering, and craftsmanship are very much part of their company's DNA. So we came to Germany to find out if that's true. So I thought a great place to start would be to come inside and talk to Nadine, who's Director of Marketing for Fine. And you know, Nadine, Fine is not necessarily a household name in the United States,
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, you kind of blew me away when I walked into the room and you were talking about this. Share with me again what you said.
That was we invented the first power tool.
And how long ago was that?
It was 1895.
1895. It still run?
Yes, of course.
Okay, switch by switch. That's cool.
Look at this.
It's so quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you know, it's interesting. When I came in, I was going past this crowd of people, and they were all talking about this letter that they had. What was that all about?
It was Thomas Edison. He wrote us a letter and asked for a catalog of Fine.
Really? So kind of like one inventor back in the day asking a company that was
Yes.
inventing things for a catalog. Huh. All right, so let's talk about other things you might have invented as a company. What are you known for?
Oh, we have invented the first oscillating power tool.
Really?
So it was in 1967. And it was the first time it came out as a oscillating power tool for medical care.
Oh, to take casts?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
When we brought it out for interior construction and renovation system.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about just the sheer number of inventions.
We have at least 100 engineers and at the moment more than 500 patents. So I
Really?
think there is still enough in the pipeline.
Since we're here in Germany, I think I'll go find an engineer and see what's up next here at Fine. Hey, you know, as it turns out, it's not all that hard to find an engineer. All you have to do is put out a display full of armatures and wham! One appears, but not just anyone. It is Rainer, who is the head of R&D here at Fine. So a lot of people that use power tools wonder, how does an engineer come up with an idea for a new tool?
Well, it's not just the engineer coming up with a new idea. Normally we have a look to our customers. It means we go out to the customers, have a look to them, what they are doing. We try to learn how we can do things better.
Right.
And if we see something we can increase in our tools, so any quality, any process, any feature, then we go back to the drawing boards and try to implement it in the next generation. That's one option. The other option is that some external inventor comes to us and tell us, hey, I've got an idea, would you like to work together with me? And together with him, we develop this tool and bring it to the market.
Okay, you know, when you talk about efficiency, it all boils down to the motor, really, right?
Oh yes, the motor is the heart of the power tool, yes.
Okay, and so we've got one laid wide open here with some different examples of the armature configuration of Fine. So take me through it right here and explain the thought process as you developed this and how you think it made maybe for a better armature.
We pack a lot of copper in the motor, so that means in a very small volume we bring out a lot of power. We use the best materials.
Sure.
There are different quality levels in the market. We simply use the best one. And so we have a very small, very efficient motor with a very high overload capability. And so that's the reason why I think at least that's the best motor on the market.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I would love to get inside your head for a second because I couldn't get into R&D. I walked down that hallway and it was like, no, you can't come in here, right? But I'm talking to the man. And so could you maybe give me a hint as to what might be on the horizon for Fine as regards a new release?
Unfortunately, I can't tell you, but when we bring it to the market, Tool Select will be the first to know about.
Hey, you heard it first right here because it is all about the future of tools. And speaking of the future of Fine, that doesn't look like any power tool I've ever seen, but it's an important part of the future of Fine because, Jonas, you're part of an apprenticeship program here?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
The apprenticeship program is about mechanic and electronic and to working with the computer. And there we learn to program this machine and this controlling unit. But we learn also to work with the milling machine or with the lathe machine and learn things like this.
Cool. Okay, and so how long is the program?
program is 3 years long.
3 years long.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he'll move on over to the manufacturing side where he'll be building the tools of the future. And so for that, you're wondering, well, what does this have to do with me? Well, let's say, for instance, you buy a fine tool. You're probably pretty concerned about the craftsmanship, the care taken in putting the tool together. So let's go over to the manufacturing side and check out their quality control. You know, whether or not a tool is going to last once you make the purchase boils down to one simple word, and that is quality. And so I thought we'd talk to Toby here. He's in charge of the Multimaster line at Fine about the quality that you guys put into your tool. I guess the better word for it is craftsmanship. So take me through it.
Yes, so here at Fine it's everything about quality. That's why we use parts made in Germany. So for example, the armature, the field package, the motor housing and the cover, they are produced here at our factory in Bargau. The electronic is not from us, it's from a big German supplier. So we know about the quality of all our parts. So we really want to make sure that we have great parts here. For example, the motor housing, it's not only a plastic, a polyamide, there's 30% glass fiber in it. That's to make the motor housing strong enough for the vibrations of the power tool. If we look at the armature, for example, then we have very small tolerances for the concentricity of the armature. That's why we are doing it on our own. If one of the workers on the line is finding a small spot or even a bigger spot on a part, so we are picking the part out, we don't use it. And then we are talking about every day about our quality, our defect parts, to make sure we can increase the quality in the next weeks, in the next months. If it's a part from our house, we are talking with our colleagues and ask what's happening here. If it's a part from a supplier, we are going out to the supplier to check the process there to make really sure that we have no defects in our machines. Every machine, before it leaves our house, is 100% tested. So every function is tested before you, as a customer, can get our machine. We can tell if there's every part in the machine and if it's running properly, so no electronic problems, no problems from the armature and the field. Another big fact that the brush fits to the commutator really good after that time, so you don't have any brush fire or any smoke or dust from the first switching of the machine. So because we don't want to have it at the customer to switch on the machine and then the dust and the smell.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. I saw, you know, a number of different ways of manufacturing. There is stations where people are putting stuff together, but then I also saw some people that were putting together what I perceived to be niche tools.
In the niche products, so one person is assembling the whole machine, and at the end he's signing it with his name and saying, that's my machine. That's again for quality, because if you are doing one machine at your own, then you know you are in charge for the quality of that product.
Cool. Well, you know, it seems like a lot of people behind us here take pride in what it is that they're doing, because they just don't have this really kind of bored, glazed over look. They seem really intense. So let's talk about the training necessary to find a place on the line.
Yeah, so it depends on the line, but training can go over a year to really make sure you are able to handle every process in the line. So we are investing a lot of time in our people to work here on the line. And the next thing is that the people can work in more than one line, at least 3 or 4, and maybe even in other departments like armature manufacturing or steel parts manufacturing. That's important for us because the people here are working at Fine for a really long time, and I think nobody wants to work for 50 years at the same place and do the same job.
So it's been an awesome time here in Germany at Fine as we try to get to the bottom of the history, the engineering, and the craftsmanship of this company. But it was something that Holger said to me through an interpreter a little while ago that I wanted to share with you. So Jens, if you could repeat what he said.
Sure. So he said that he is actually for 24 years with the company. But the interesting thing is both his dad and his mom were here for 40 years. They are both retired now.
Okay.
And he also mentioned that whenever he has children, he wants them to work for the company as well.
So that makes 3 generations strong, but no children yet?
It's in production.
In production. Well, you know, isn't it interesting? We came to just try to figure things out because here at ToolSelect.com, it's all about real stats, real people, hopefully to make it real easy to figure out which tool is right for you.